unjust projects that are happening in the United States of America, led by the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, and his company XAI. And just today, we got information that he's actually using this chatbot, Grok, in his position and in his role with Dodge, using our private personal information and a supercomputer that's being powered here and polluting the air and the lungs of the people in our community to perpetuate his very harmful agenda. And so a year ago in June, he built this.
Hey everyone, you're watching Black Files Unlocked.
What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel.
And every time you check your feed, there's another headline, another story that just makes you stop and go, wait, what? So today we're diving into several stories from August 2025. And when you connect them, they start to form a picture that, well, the material suggests we really need to look at closely.
Yeah, what jumps out immediately from the sources is how they frame these different events, things impacting ethnic and urban communities. You've got economic shifts, media clashes, even direct challenges to political representation. And the sources don't present these as just random things happening. No, the material we reviewed really portrays them more like interconnected chapters, almost like they're chapters in the same book.
Exactly. So we're going to cover quite a bit of ground. There's this startling new jobs report we need to unpack, its specific impact. Then there's a pretty high-stakes media confrontation that got, well, very personal. We also look at an elected official literally blocked from doing his job. And even touched on some controversial projects, international incidents, things the sources flag as critical for understanding the landscape. Okay, let's start with that jobs report from the Department of Labor. The analysis in the material, it hits you with a real bombshell finding. Black unemployment has spiked to 7.2%, and the reports describe that level as the highest it's been.
The sources state the administration has been actively gutting the federal workforce. Now, this isn't presented as just routine cuts. The data insights show this hits Black communities disproportionately hard. Why? Because the federal government is cited as the single largest employer of Black people in the U.S. So when you see cuts in agencies like, say, the Department of Education, as the reports detail, you're directly hitting what's historically been a really stable source of middle-class employment for Black families.
And the human impact described, it's just staggering. Over 300,000 Black women losing their jobs. I mean, when you think about that number, what does that really mean? What are the deeper implications beyond the immediate hardship? You know, families struggling with rent, groceries, childcare.
Well, the ripple effect is profound.
Right.
The documents describe it as a direct threat, a threat to the very foundations of economic security for so many families. It could potentially set back progress made over decades. It's not just about the lost paycheck. It's about the ability to build wealth, to invest in your kids' education, to maintain that community resilience.
Yeah. But it's interesting, amidst that difficulty, the sources also point to something else. The strength of community responding. We learn about Felicia Butterfield launching the Global State of Women Relief Fund, an emergency fund offering cash assistance directly to Black women hit by these job losses. It really demonstrates that community power rising to meet a crisis. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit from the economy to a different kind of fight. This one's waged in the media over narratives, over truth itself. The reports highlight radio host Charlamagne Tho God's appearance on Lara Trump's show. Apparently, he didn't just show up to, play nice.
No, the insight suggests he really spoke his mind. He challenged the administration's economic claims head-on, pointed out that policies helping the rich were, quote, hurting everyday people.
And the reaction?
Pretty immediate and predictable, based on the source's framing. Donald Trump went straight to social media, called Charlamagne a racist sleazebag and a low IQ individual. The narratives we reviewed characterized this as a familiar playbook, When faced with criticism you don't like, attack the critic personally. What's particularly telling, the analysis notes, is the type of attack. Economic criticism met with accusations of racism.
Right.
Dr. Rashad from Indisputable covered these stories. All right, let's get into the video.
Remember when I told you that Trump is decreasing Black employment without saying the word Black? We have the numbers. Black unemployment dramatically increases under Donald Trump. Black unemployment under Trump reaches its highest rate since the pandemic. Let me tell you what this means. The latest jobs report released by the Department of Labor shows that Black unemployment spiked to 7.2% in July, marking its highest rate since the COVID-19 pandemic nearly 4 years ago. The Black unemployment rate has not seen its current level since October 2021, when it was 7.8%. The unemployment rate for Black workers reached its lowest level in U.S. history during the Biden administration, 5%. Trump appeared enraged over Friday's overall job numbers, which included a downward turn in the number of added jobs last month, which was only 73,000 according to the Griot. He posted to Truth Social and announced the firing of the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner. As a result, he accused the Biden appointee of previously faking the jobs numbers to influence the 2024 election in favor of former Vice President Kamala Harris. All because the department released the same data based on the same metric that they have always used. But this time, he can't even lie his way out of the quantitative math. And in order to create smoke and mirrors to his inadequacy, he blames the commissioner and makes up a hell of a creative story that includes a conspiracy between Biden, Kamala Harris, and the labor commissioner. Quote, I was just informed that our country's job numbers are being produced by a Biden appointee. Yes, Dr. Erica McKentrifer, the Commissioner of Labor Statistics, who faked the jobs numbers before the election to try and boost Kamala's chances of victory. Sir, you've just admitted that this week you just found out who the person is who's the labor commissioner, statistics. You didn't know that? You've been president for a minute. You just found this out. But she's the one who's incompetent. Okay, I got it. So in another post, he wrote, last week's jobs report was rigged. The report was rigged, ladies and gentlemen. Just like the numbers prior to the presidential election, they were rigged too. That's why in both cases, there was massive record-setting revisions. In favor of the radical left Democrats, those big adjustments were made to cover up and to level out the fake political numbers that were concocted in order to make a great Republican success look less stellar. I will pick an exceptional replacement. Thank you for your attention to this matter. MAGA. Are we even in a real place? Is Earth a real place? Definitely we're in a simulation. This man has blamed Democrats who are no longer in office for doing this instead of being one thing, thoughtful about you. He'd rather have propaganda, lies. He doesn't care if you have a job. He knows you don't. He doesn't care that you have to make ends meet. He doesn't. He's not concerned about spending millions and millions of taxpayer dollars on things like ballrooms and private jets. He doesn't care that he could be compromised by foreign governments in order to sell you out. Hell, he's basically advertising he's for sale. Trump says he's done more for Black Americans than anyone. These are just words. If pushing Black unemployment to its highest level since 2021 is his idea of progress, we hate to see what failure looks like to him, said Brandon Weathersby, spokesperson for American Bridge 21st Century. Weathersby told the Griot, quote, instead of delivering on his promises to the working class, Trump is handing out tax breaks to billionaires while Black unemployment climbs and good-paying jobs disappear. He added, quote, while Trump celebrates phony job numbers and lines the pockets of his ultra-rich donors, Black workers are paying the price. We told you this would happen. We said it right here on Indisputable. The jobs that he has decided to cut. It wasn't just the DEI policy. It was the fact that he was gutting federal workforces that employed Black folk. Remember, the federal government is the #1 singular employer of Black people in the United States of America, the Department of Education being the chief of them, and it happens to be the only entity in the country where Black people are overrepresented based on population ratio. And that's what he gutted primarily. What do you think he's doing? And it has now equated to the eventual cause and effect. It's not complicated. It's just numbers. Trump White House reportedly refused to provide guests to talk about the poor jobs report. After the president fired the head of the BLS on Friday, they invited White House to provide a guest to respond. George Stephanopoulos explained. They declined. I won't talk about that. Why? Because it is so egregious. First of all, George, you know good and damn well they're going to come on your show and lie anyway. But this is such an egregious truth. They don't have the mental gymnastics nor creative capacity to lie out of this one. So instead of going on your show, they just will say, we decline. More than 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs. 300,000 plus. But one woman is making a difference. Her name is Felicia Butterfield, has launched a global state of women, a collective relief fund. We want to help her. The relief campaign, curated by Butterfield and her company Seed Media, has raised over $3,000 within 12 hours, and the ultimate goal is to meet or surpass $100,000 within a month. Quote, people want to show up, but they just don't know how. And so this is one way to do it. The award-winning business leader said, adding that half of the donors were Black men. Black men that we know and trust are quietly giving. I will be among them, Butterfield confirmed. The Global State of Women Relief Fund offers emergency cash assistance to Black women facing financial hardship from job loss, unemployment, or unexpected crisis. Whether it's groceries, rent, childcare, or transit. Well, helping women breathe again, the site states. It feels like there's no light at the end of a tunnel. As a matter of fact, it seems like there's probably no tunnel. Maybe the world is the tunnel itself, and there's no escape. But I want to remind you that some of the greatest men and women were not defined by encouragement and support. They were defined by experiencing the polarity, the opposite of that. Sometimes, going through this kind of pressure awakens something inside of all of us that transforms the entire narrative. All right, I don't want you to ever forget.
This happened in Nashville, Tennessee. The material focuses on State Representative Justin Jones, described as a young Black lawmaker, and he was physically blocked, stopped from entering a really crucial meeting.
Yeah, and the context of that meeting is key. It wasn't just any meeting. It was about a massive project planned for his own district, a proposed underground tunnel by Elon Musk's Boring Company connecting the airport to downtown. This thing has huge implications for his constituents. We're talking 75,000 people whose lives could be significantly affected.
75,000 people.
Exactly. And the person they elected to represent their interests on this very issue, he was barred from entry. The analysis in the reports really highlights a stark contrast here. Representative Jones, who has constitutional oversight capacity, he's kept out. Meanwhile, the sources say other lawmakers, white Republican lawmakers from districts miles away, were waved right in.
Wow. The message there seems incredibly clear. As the sources put it, it's like those guarding the door were saying, your authority, your mandate from the voters doesn't matter here. What do the insights draw from that kind of exclusion? for the idea of representation itself.
Well, the analysis interprets this incident as a really chilling example. An example of what it looks like when corporate interests and political power maybe collude to sideline community representation. I mean, by locking him out, they weren't just disrespecting one person. They were effectively silencing the 75,000 people who voted for him.
That's a huge number of people being silent.
It is. And there's a quote referenced in the material from Dr. Rashad that feels very relevant here.
Yeah.
If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Well, so the combined insights conclude that when an elected black official is physically barred from a meeting about his own district, it's not just an insult. It's framed as a clear and present danger to the principles of representative government for everyone.
Okay, so let's pull these threads together now. We have the jobs report showing specific communities falling behind economically. We have a prominent African-American media figure attacked for speaking out. And we have an elected official physically shut out of decisions impacting his community.
Right. And when you look at them together, as the sources urge us to, what becomes powerfully clear is that these aren't presented as just random misfortunes or coincidences.
Lawmaker at a state lawmaking facility, state facility where lawmakers should be, he's banned inside of his own district. I wonder what they're talking about. Here it is.
Yeah, let's step back out here for just let everybody come through. I'm pushing a little bit.
This project is in this airport where we are is my district.
I understand.
So I'm here to get information from my constituents. Casey Sellers, the governor's comms person.
Okay.
And that's who I might call to let know I was coming.
Okay.
What is your name, sir?
Hey, I'm Nathan Butcher.
What is your role?
So I work with Altitude Ventures.
Is this a part of the state of Tennessee?
I understand what you're saying. It is definitely. Can you hold on for just
And
1
so,
second?
I'm here in my oversight capacity.
I know. I understand.
I was elected to represent the people, 75,000 people who live on Murfreesboro Pike, who live around the airport.
I'm responsible for the list, and I'm just trying to be respectful to my role. That's all. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you.
As a representative of this district, are you saying that I cannot go to this event?
No, I'm not saying it has to do with you being a representative. I'm just saying I just need to check the list and make sure. I'm not being rude. I want you to understand. I know who you are, and I respect you. I've talked to you before. We've met.
I have not met you, sir.
Tell me your last name.
He's a lawmaker. He has what's called oversight capacity by virtue of the state constitution, Mr. Justin Jones. That oversight capacity is in the constitution of the state. My law professor would say that makes it extra legal to do if it's emphatic in the Constitution. Here's what happened next.
This is a representative who doesn't even live in the district. This is one of the state senators who does not live in this district. So if you allow somebody from Knoxville to come and not a representative of Nashville, who this airport is in my district, and that is...
I hear what you're saying. I understand.
She says she's not on the list.
Just make sure.
I've got the list.
And my husband's with me.
Yes, I know. Get you a wristband.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Well,
Just, excuse me. Hey, sir.
I'm a lawmaker just like this lawmaker here.
This is a private event.
Sir, this is my district. And if we allow
this is a private event.
this is about a public partnership. Murfreesboro Pike is in my district. This airport's in my district.
Sir, this is a private event. I cannot let you through.
Can we go talk?
You just let somebody
she's
from
on the
Knoxville.
list.
She wasn't on the list.
She is on the list.
Didn't even look like your name was on the list.
That's because I filled in for the lieutenant governor.
Her husband was not on the list.
Yes, he was.
I just let us, like every other lawmaker, is allowed to go in there who's Republican, who's white.
It has nothing to do with it.
It does. Senator Massey was not on the list because she's white and because she's a Republican lawmaker. This is the treatment that you are complicit in, sir.
Now, I'm going to tell you who made the list. Lobbyists. That's right. Special interest group and lobbyists. They are the ones who made the list. Well, how do I know that? Well, because the organizations that are there, they're lobbying organizations. And they have successfully lobbied the governor, lieutenant governor, and other Republican lawmakers who do not represent that district. Now, there are private enterprises at the table, of course. There's always private enterprises at the table. Everything that your taxpayer pays for somehow connects to a private enterprise. If they contract work out, That means that there's a development outfit that bids for the particular contract that's paid for by taxpayer money. Just because there's a private entity at the table, it doesn't negate the fact that public money is being used to pay at the table. The point that the brother was making is that he is supposed to be at the table because he represents the 75,000 residents that you will impact when you leave the damn table. And if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. It didn't matter that Jones said the airport and the surrounding area were in his district. He wasn't allowed in. This is not the only Elon Musk venture that has happened or erupted or affected Tennessee citizens. Here it is. So tell the audience, man, what's happening in the area?
Yeah, I mean, we are facing one of the most significant environmentally racist, environmentally unjust projects that are happening in the United States of America, led by the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, and his company XAI. And just today, we got information that he's actually using this chatbot, Grok, in his position and in his role with Dodge, using our private personal information and a supercomputer that's being powered here and polluting the air and the lungs of the people in our community to perpetuate his very harmful agenda. And so a year ago in June, he built this company, XAI, and brought it to Memphis with elected leaders signing NDAs. No one knew about the project except those people who had signed those NDAs. And then we learned that he's going to power it not with clean energy, not with solar, not with wind or anything like that, but with gas turbines of all things. And we get told it's only going to be 15 and they're going to use them temporarily. And they're able to do that because of some code within the Clean Air Act that allows them to. Our attorneys looked at that and told them that's illegal. And the Shelby County Health Department needs to step in. The Shelby County Health Department refused to. The mayor, Paul Young, actually started to tout the exact same talking points of the chamber in XAI. And another mayor has been silent for this entire time until yesterday, where he said that he had no reason, that's Lee Harris, no reasons to be concerned, despite the fact that thousands upon thousands of people are saying our loved ones are dying from cancer, despite the fact that the research says that if this facility is producing the level of pollution that it says it is based on the technology that they do have in the gas turbines, it's more nitrogen oxides than the Memphis International Airport. It's 17.2 tons of formaldehyde, right, that is being pumped into the air. And we've already faced so many problems in our community due to the toxic release inventory facilities that surround us, from Nucor Steel to Valero Oil Refinery to the Tennessee Valley Authority. So they're perpetuating a harm, and we're standing up and fighting against it.
Charlemagne the God rips Donald Trump after calling him a racist. Here it is.
I think that traditional conservatives are going to take the Republican Party back. I think there's a political coup going on right now in the Republican Party that people aren't paying attention to.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think that this Epstein thing is going to be a way for traditional conservatives to take their party back. I really do. I think that they know this is the issue that has gotten the base riled up. The MAGA base isn't letting this issue go. And for the first time, they know they can, probably take their party back and not piss off the MAGA base. I think they're going to do that.
Charlemagne the God is politically, morally, socially correct. He is absolutely correct. Now, he's simply calling it as it is. He did not suggest that the Republicans created this Epstein thing. He is simply saying they've been waiting for the opportunity in order to capitalize on a weakness of Trump. It's called politics, ladies and gentlemen. There are Democrats waiting on Democrats for various reasons to do the same thing. And you don't think Republicans, who have been publicly ousted among their own party ranks, from George W. Bush to Cheney to Romney, and then the others that we don't talk about as often, they're no more. It's only MAGA now. You don't think these individuals who have understood power for decades have been trying to get back at the wheel of authority? Come on now. So of course, now the reason why Trump is upset at this statement is because hit dogs holler. And so as soon as Trump heard this statement, he has to respond. Trump has not been a fan of Charlamagne's recent remarks and fired back on Truth Social. The very wonderful and talented Laura Trump, whose show is a big rating success, put racist sleazebag Charlamagne the God. Why is he allowed to use the word God when describing himself? Question mark. Can anyone imagine the uproar there would be if I used that nickname? We know you want to, Don. Do it. Go ahead and do it. Do it, sir. Just do it. He's a low IQ individual, has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth, and knows nothing about me or what I have done. Man, you are sad, man. Sir, first of all, he went on Laura Trump's show and said it in her face. He was on Laura Trump's show and told your Laura, your daddy ain't ish. Told your Laura, he going down. His house about to happen. You had no criticism of Laura, who booked him, who listened to him, who seemed to kind of agree with him. But you had all the smoke for Charlamagne. And you mad because people call him Charlamagne the God. And you would like to know why.
So how did Charlamagne respond to that kind of attack? Did the sources cover his framing of it?
They do. And his counter-response is presented as equally significant. He apparently highlighted the sheer absurdity of being called a racist, especially given his critique was economic. And he specifically framed being on her show as an exercise in free speech, a principle he stands by even when engaging with people he fundamentally disagrees with. It kind of underscored this commitment to dialogue, even under intense fire.
That's powerful, framing it that way. And you're right, this exchange feels like much more than just some, celebrity feud. It feels crucial for our political conversations. The reports really emphasize the immense pressure placed on public figures, particularly Black figures, who dare to challenge the official narrative. It really lays bare the stakes when someone tries to speak truth to power.
All right, this is very good. So shortly after, Charlamagne fired back at Trump, okay, in his own post. Quote, President Trump was better off going after Urkel, though because he is really scraping the bottom of the black barrel coming at me. Charlamagne wrote on his Instagram, then named others who Trump has recently targeted. You can't go from MLK Jr., President Obama, Oprah, Beyonce, to a sleazebag named Leonard. The Laura Trump attempted to steer the interview back to her father-in-law's accomplishments. Charlamagne repeatedly challenged her claims. Anything that takes away Medicaid from people and puts them in a worse financial situation, I'm not for, he told the host. When she falsely claimed grocery prices were going down, Charlamagne simply said no. All right, he spoke about Trump's remarks on the Breakfast Club. Here it is.
Dog here today for Monday, August 4th goes to President Donald J. Trump. Now, if you haven't heard, I was on Laura Trump's show, My View, on Fox this past weekend. Drop on the clues bombs for Laura Trump. She's been a guest on Breakfast Club before, so I had no problem showing up to her program. You know, I'm one of those silly rabbits who still believes in the First Amendment, okay, freedom of speech. Thankfully, Laura is a Trump who still believes in freedom of speech because her father-in-law, the 47th president of the United States of America, did not take too kindly to some things I had to say. I mean, where is the lie? Trump's big, beautiful bill is going to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Okay, the other issue I said on My View with Laura Trump is I believe traditional conservatives are quietly staging a political coup to take their party back from MAGA. I explained this to y'all a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, so he also added, quote, listen, my fellow Americans, we are in a strange time right now, a time we have never seen, because authoritarian strategy is being used against anyone who speaks out against this administration. He added, he called me a racist. I didn't mention race. Not one time on Laura Trump, I didn't bring up the fact that Trump issued an executive order directing oversight of institutions like the Smithsonian to remove or suppress narratives about systemic racism in Black history. Put Charlamagne up again. Isn't it ironic that our dear brother speaks more like the President of the United States? should speak than the current president of the United States does speak. Thank you, dear brother, for the words. Trump, just for the record, in your Christian Bible that I know you read every day, the Christ said, "Do ye not know that ye are gods?" That's where Charlemagne gets it from, brother.
Thanks for watching, and we really, really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to our channel. Have a good one.